now look at how things work. This is an interesting one. We have received numerous requests to feature the process of brewing beer. And tonight, Betty Callow is heeding that call. She now brings you how things work inside the brewery. Take a look.
A long time ago, way back in history, when all there was to drink was nothing but cups of tea, along came a man by the name Charlie Mops, and he invented a popular drink, and he made it out of hops. 7,000 years ago, the first beer was brewed. Centuries later, more people continue to enjoy this drink. Ever wonder how beer is made? Tonight, we'll tell you how on How Things Work. This is the Kenosha Breweries. Here, up to 60,000 bottles of beer leave the plant daily. But before you get your beer, there is an intricate process that takes place behind the scenes. At the factory, huge tanks, pipes, and complex laboratory procedures to crown it all. So how do they all come together to brew beer? Let's get to it. There are 4 main ingredients in beer: malted barley, yeast as you know it, water, and a plant known as hops. So important is this last ingredient. It is said to be the spice of beer. Yup, beer too needs some extra zing.
The raw materials we receive, then it is carefully analyzed by our experts in the lab to confirm that they are of the right quality.
There are 6 steps in processing beer: mashing, loitering, boiling, cooling, fermentation, and carbonation. The process begins here. This is the storage facility specifically for malted barley. When the plant is ready to begin processing, the barley is fed into this machine and taken to the miller machine. This is the miller. It is here that the malted barley is crushed to break up the kernel and obtain a powderish substance known as grist or flour. After the grist has been acquired, the first step of beer making, known as mashing, begins.
Now that we have got our flour, what happens here is just to mix with water to get that extract, to get that solution we are interested in. This is where now we mix the flour with the water and then we dissolve it.
Mashing takes about an hour in order to release the sugars contained in the grains. The sugars are important because sugars are the food that yeast later eats during fermentation to produce alcohol. Mashing also helps add aroma and flavor to the beer. After mashing, loitering is the next step. This is where the liquid obtained during the mashing process is separated from the husks of the spent grains to obtain a filtered liquid known as wort.
There are sieves inside, as you've seen. Those sieves are made to allow the liquid phase, and then they restrain the solid particles from going. So now after that, you get your liquid phase to the boiling, and then your solid particles, they are used as animal feeds.
The wort is then sent to another tank for the final brewing step. In this tank, the liquid is boiled for 1 hour to kill microorganisms. It is also here that the hops, remember those spices, are added to the liquid. Hops are the plants that essentially give beer the bitter taste. After the boiling, this is the liquid that is obtained. However, it's not yet ready to be packed.
This is now what we are taking to the fermenters.
After, the water is cooled so the yeast can be added. This is the last step in the typical brew day.
The clear solution now moves to the fermentation tanks. On the way, it is added the yeast, the calculated quantity of the yeast.
Next up is fermentation, which is largely a waiting period. These are the tanks in which fermentation takes place. Each tank holds up to 30,000 liters of beer, which translates to 60,000 bottles.
The fermentation process starts for the next 21 days. The 21 days will have different fermentation profiles. That is, the temperature will vary.
After 21 days of fermentation, that's right, nearly a month of fermentation, the beer is now ready. The experts in the plant then have to test through physical tasting of the beer to ensure its quality. When approved, the beer is passed through a carbonation plant and then sent to storage tanks awaiting packing. At the bottling area, activity. Never a dull moment. The bottles are cleaned fast, inspected, and lined up to be filled with beer even faster. The bottles are filled, the crates are packed, ready to be delivered to the market. And that is what happens behind the scenes to process that beer that you love. Betty Carlo, how things work.